Welcome to today's webinar, AI in Practice, 5 Real-World Solutions for Business Transformation. AI is no longer a future vision, it's a practical driver of efficiency and business transformation today. In this session, we will explore 5 real-world AI use cases that are already delivering impact across industries, from automating operations to enhancing customer engagement and enabling data-driven decision-making. Hello, I'm Tim Denijs, Regional Sales Leader for the Benelux and your host for today, joined by Begonia Villamor, Data and AI Director at Broadpin and our AI expert.
Hello.
We will give you a brief introduction to Broadpin, who we are, where we came from, our capabilities and expertise, as well as our service portfolio. This will be followed up by Begonia, whom will deep dive into several AI-related use cases that we are able to deliver to our customers today. For your information, towards the end of the session, we will discuss possible next steps and have a questions and answers session. Please feel free to raise your questions via the question button during the webinar, and we'll be sure to address as many as possible at the end of the session. About Broadpin. For those of you that don't know us yet, or that might have known us by a different name, Broadpin is a global Oracle consulting company that has been established based upon unifying 5 companies under a single brand. These companies have come together to expand its Oracle portfolio, deepen industry expertise to build a unified organization with global reach. Broadpin is now able to drive digital transformation through strategy implementations, managed services, focus on delivering Oracle solutions that matter and that make a difference. Now, what does that actually mean? With over 500 employees worldwide and currently servicing over 650 customers across 30 different countries, we've accelerated and expanded our capabilities to empower companies through tailored Oracle solutions, spanning from Oracle on-prem applications, cloud infrastructure, data platform, industry-specific solution, SaaS applications, and of course, AI to provide infinite possibilities to our customers. As a true Oracle partner, we have made it our mission to guide transformation, help businesses drive long-term success while mirroring the speed of innovation available in today's market. We have the ability to take our experience with various customers across various industries, mapping it with market trends and resolving common challenges that allow us to develop real-world AI solutions that one can actually benefit from. Our mission and vision is focused around helping customers with modernization and digital transformation. At Broadpin, our service portfolio is to help organizations move beyond experimentation. By combining strategy, implementation, and adoption services, we ensure AI solutions are scalable, secure, and aligned with the business outcome. Our approach supports customers end-to-end, enabling them to successfully unlock value from AI and accelerate their transformational journey. Moreover, our service portfolio is designed to help organizations turn AI into real business value, bringing together business processes, project delivery, cloud solution, custom development, and of course, managed services all into one integrated approach. What differentiates us is that everything we do is backed by deep industry and technological expertise and, where suitable, powered by AI, ensuring AI is not just adopted, but successfully scaled and embedded in core business processes. With that said, I would like to hand over to Begonia Villamor, who will take you through several of our AI capabilities and use cases to drive business transformation. Begonia, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Tim. Today, we will look at several types of use cases where generative AI plays an important role. First, we will see use cases that call LLMs directly from the database, for example, documenting code or generating summaries. Next, we will see how AI can be added to existing applications by adding a natural language interface. One example is an AI agent that interacts with the JD Edwards ERP to approve or reject orders. The same approach can be applied to virtually any application that exposes APIs. You may notice that these two use cases are grouped together. In both cases, AI acts as a natural language interface to existing systems. Another popular use case is talking to your data with AI. One common approach is natural language to SQL, where users ask questions in plain English and the system generates the SQL needed to retrieve the information. We will see a chatbot that can query database tables and combine that information with procedures and business logic stored in documents. We will also cover retrieval augmented generation, or RAG. In these solutions, the AI answers questions using information from the organization's own systems. We will see what an enterprise RAG solution looks like and how it goes beyond simple semantic search. Finally, we will see how AI can help us analyze data without building any custom applications, just using Oracle Analytics Cloud. The first 5 use cases are built on Oracle database, and throughout them, we will see how the new features enable it to serve as both a data platform and an AI platform. Let's get started. In all cases, we will first look at the problem or challenge and then see how AI can help solve it. The problem with code documentation is often very simple. It does not exist. This is especially common with older applications, written in languages that are now updated and few people in the company will know well. When changes are needed, the team often faces a familiar situation. Before making any modification, developers must spend days understanding how the code works. This is where AI can help by explaining the code and generating clear summaries. AI can significantly reduce the time needed to understand existing applications and speed up maintenance and development tasks. Some of you may have heard about our code explanation solution a few months ago. Since then, we have added several new features. First, by using the Select AI chat functionality in Oracle database, we can create AI profiles with different models without having to manage each model's API separately. Second, OCI has now models with much larger context window. A few months ago, most models could handle only a few 100,000 tokens. Today, we have models that support 1 or even 2 million tokens. This allows us to process larger files or even analyze several files in the same moment, at the same time. Here we have an example of how the tool explains a complex ERP process. It uses one of the OpenAI models available in OCI, together with a prompt designed by one of our functional consultants. When we present this tool, some clients ask how it differs from simply using a copilot, where you upload a file, enter a prompt, and get a code explanation. Others ask why they would need this solution if they already have an MCP client connected to their environment. The answer is that our approach provides advantages in terms of integration, automation, governance, and security. If the source code is accessible from the database, it does not need to be stored in the database, only accessible. We can process it just like any other batch process in the database. For example, we can maintain a table with the prompts to apply to each type of code, automatically generate documentation, store the results in the database, and build a knowledge base that grows over time. This makes the process repeatable and scalable. Instead of documenting code one file at a time, we can document entire applications in a controlled way. From a security perspective, when we use OCI models, we know that our data is not used to train the model providers' public models. We can also control the geographic region where the processing takes place, which can be important for compliance and data residency requirements. Of course, MCP has its own use cases and can be very useful for interactive work. However, when using MCP, we are giving an AI assistant direct access to enterprise systems. This raises additional questions around permissions, governance, auditing, and operational control. Before continuing, let me clarify what I mean by OCI models. Oracle does not build its own foundation models. Instead, OCI provides secure access to leading models from multiple vendors. Today, we can use models from Cohere, Llama, OpenAI, Google Gemini, and XAI Grok through a common platform. These models are available on demand through APIs with usage-based pricing. If you use it, you pay. If you don't use them, you don't pay anything. But for organizations that require additional isolation and control, some models are also available through dedicated deployments. In the image, what we see is a Java explanation for two profiles, a junior that needs to learn all the details of the code, and a functional user and not technical user. We can use the prompt to design this type of documentation. Now that models have larger context windows, we can also use them to compare files. This can be useful in many situations. For example, imagine you use an external software that allows customizations, for example, JD Edwards or Business Suite. A new version is released, and you need to understand the differences between your customized version and the new standard version. This manual work can take a lot of time. AI will not replace the need of an expert to review the results, but it can make the analysis much faster. Another example is reporting. Sometimes users are allowed to create their own reports, and after a few months, the company has hundreds of reports that are almost identical. With this tool, we can compare them, detect the ones that already are very similar, and decide which ones to keep. This helps reducing maintenance work. In the image, we can see the result of comparing two reports that use SQL to query the ERP database. The comparison has been designed to use financial vocabulary whenever possible. It highlights the differences and helps business users to decide whether they really need both reports or with one is enough. The architecture is actually very simple: an Oracle database and the AI services that we invoke through APIs directly from the database. Since Oracle Database 23 AI version, we have new packages that include built-in capabilities for working with AI, processing JSON, extracting text from documents, and much more. Of course, if we don't have an Oracle database, we can build a similar solution using OCI Integration Cloud or by creating our own architecture with Python. In that case, we would need libraries for text extraction, AI integration, and result processing. We would also need a way to schedule tasks and orchestrate the different components. In other words, we would need to assemble and maintain many different pieces. And if we later decide to store the generated documentation and make it searchable, we will probably need a database anyway. So the question is, if the database is already part of the solution, why not use it as the platform for the entire process? The second use case we will look at today addresses a common challenge with traditional ERP systems. Many of these systems have been in place for years, and their interfaces are not always easy to use. Imagine that the finance manager needs to urgently approve a purchase order. They are away of the office, they don't have their laptop, and they don't remember the steps needed to reach the right screen in the ERP. The result, the approval will probably wait until tomorrow. Now imagine they can simply open a mobile app and ask, what purchase orders are waiting for my approval? The system shows the information and they can immediately approve or reject the order. This is one way AI can help, by adding a natural language interface on top of existing applications. We can make them much easier to use without changing the business rules behind them. AI can also help automate routine tasks. For example, a user could simply ask, apply a 5% discount to all products for this customer, and the system can perform the action automatically. That's the role of Qbot for GD, our intelligent assistant for managing purchase and sales orders. The agent was built with Oracle Apex and communicates with JD Edwards through a component called Orchestrator. For those who are not familiar with it, Orchestrator allows us to automate processes in JD Edwards and expose them as web services. Because the agent connects to the application itself rather than directly to the database, all security policies, business rules, and user permissions are applied automatically. Here we see what Qbot for GD looks like when querying and printing purchase orders. This is how it asks for confirmation before approval. This is an example of how an order is rejected. And on the sales side, here we can have a sales rep new to the company, visiting a client and using the bot to get information about available products, different formats. And they can also create the order from the same place. This type of tool can help streamline the sales process and improve the customer experience, especially by making information easier and faster to access. Of course, the operations we have shown are just examples. In your company, there may be other processes that could be improved with AI. The good news is that if the process can be automated with Orchestrator, we can invoke it with AI. These are the main components of the solution: Oracle Database, 26AI, Oracle Apex, Oracle Generative AI, and in this case, the Generative AI plays three key roles. First, it identifies the user intent. Second, extracts the information required to execute the available actions. And third, generates a natural language response based on the information returned by the ERP. That while we are at it, why stop at a single interface? Some of our clients are already used to working with Microsoft Teams. So we have another version that uses the same JDE APIs, but was developed with Copilot Studio in Azure and interacts directly through a Teams channel. And we didn't stop there. Our consultants also created Q, a voice-enabled robot that can listen, speak, and create sales orders in JD Edwards. And the last addition to the team is Clara, a video avatar that can check product availability in GD, create orders, or even guide users through ERP processes. Of course, this approach is not limited to JD Edwards. The same type of solution can be applied to virtually any application. The only requirement is that the application exposes its functionality through APIs. Once those APIs are available, AI can provide a much more natural and intuitive way for users to interact with the system. We are now going to watch a short 2-minute video in which our colleague Salvador, Clara's creator, asks her to perform several tasks and shows how those actions are reflected in the ERP. The demo was recorded in English, but the solution supports multiple languages.
Hello.
Hello, I'm Clara, your JDE specialist. Would you like to see a live inventory lookup or create a sales order in our demo system?
Yes, please. We want to create a sales order. We want to order 10 bikes, 10 mountain bikes. Do we have availability?
Let me check the inventory for the mountain bike product 210 in plant M30 for you. Mountain bike, red has 30 EA available.
Okay. Can we create a sales order, please, for SIVA customer?
Sure thing. Just to confirm, you'd like a sales order for 10 units of product 210 mountain bike, red for the customer, SIVA customer. Is that correct?
That's right.
Please hold on while I create your order in the system. It should be ready in a few seconds, and I'll give you the order number. Sales order created successfully. Order number 26001392, type SO for QUISTOR Enterprises BV.
Okay, great. For the next time, I will create this order manually. Where in JD Edwards I can set a discount?
When you enter the order manually, open sales order entry P4210. On the line detail screen, you'll see a discount code field where you can apply a percentage or a discount schedule. You can also set default discounts via the sales order discount maintenance screen, also P4210, before entering the line. This lets you control discounts per customer or item.
Okay, great, thanks.
Here we see the architecture again, but for all three interfaces. They all share the same web services in the ERP, only the product chosen to implement the agent and the graphical interface changes. This means you can have different interfaces, different agent platforms that reuse the functionality you have in the ERP. Let's look at the next use case, a chatbot for a hotel front desk. The solution uses natural language to SQL, allowing users to ask questions in plain language while the AI retrieves the required information from the database. Before we continue, I should mention that this is a demo application that we created to showcase the technology. It's not a commercial product. However, the use case is completely realistic and could easily be adapted to the needs of a real hotel or any other customer-facing business. The problem we want to explain here is that hotels often ask front desk staff to offer upgrades to upsell additional services when welcoming guests. The challenge is that receptionists need to quickly identify the best option for each request, for each guest. The chatbot answers questions about bookings and guests using natural language, retrieves information from the hotel's database, reviews the guest history, and combines it with business documentation to recommend the most suitable products or services. The third action we added to this chatbot is the ability to provide travel recommendations based on the guest profile, booking information, and their own LLM knowledge, not touristic information we add to the system. No, the general knowledge that the AI model already has. On the left, we can see how the chatbot answers with the list of upcoming bookings. And on the right, we see the upselling recommendations for a specific booking following the procedures written in a PDF document. Whenever the direction of the hotel wants to change these rules, they only need to upload the new PDF, and that's it. The architecture for this use case is slightly different, but not by much. Instead of traditional database deployment, you use autonomous database, which includes Select AI, that is the Oracle's natural language to SQL capability. The database stores both the guest and booking information, as well as the document that contains the upselling rules. Oracle Apex provides the user interface, and PL SQL is used to build the agent logic. As in the previous examples, OCI generative AI is responsible for understanding the user's intent and generating natural language responses. In this case, however, generative AIs have a second role. Select AI uses the same AI services to translate the user's question into SQL. It sends the question together with the database metadata and receives the SQL statement that will be executed. One final note. Select AI packages are now available from some non-autonomous Oracle database versions. If you are running one of those versions, you can start experimenting with Select AI in your existing environment. I have to say that when you first start working with Select AI or any natural language to SQL solution, it feels almost like magic. You get the impression that you can ask anything and the system will always return the correct answer. The temptation is to expose your application's tables exactly as they are, without adding descriptions, comments, or additional context. Unfortunately, that approach usually leads to problems. Real-world databases contain ambiguities. Different columns may have similar names but different meanings. The same information can sometimes be obtained through different parts. And many table names make perfect sense for developers, but not to an AI model. If your schema is small, the column names are self-explanatory, and the relationships are simple, you may have a good chance of getting excellent results with little effort. However, when working with large enterprise applications, success depends heavily on how well you prepare the metadata that the model will use. Based on our experience, there are a few recommendations that significantly improve the quality of generated SQL. Let's look at them. First, enrich the metadata available to the model, adding constraints or foreign keys. Second, add business descriptions and comments. Create views for those tables that are usually queried together. Define common KPIs and metrics so the model doesn't have to calculate them every time. Expose only the metadata that is relevant for the use case, not everything. And finally, spend some time choosing the right model for SQL generation. AI models have different capabilities, and you have to test all you have available and check which one works better with your database, with your tables. The next use case is about building a search system that truly finds the information we need. When semantic search first appeared, many of us thought, that's it, our search problems are solved. And to be fair, it was a huge step forward. With semantic search, you no longer need to remember the exact words used in a document. If you know the topic or the meaning of what you are looking for, the system can usually find it. However, semantic search is not enough on its own. Sometimes we are looking for a combination of concepts and exact terms. For example, a person's name, a customer code, a product reference, or a specific phrase that must appear in the document. This is where lexical search becomes important. Oracle Database includes Oracle Text, a technology that has been available for more than 20 years, and it allows us to search for exact words and variations of those words, and ranks the results. When we combine semantic search with lexical search, the quality of the results improves significantly. And there is a third component, metadata search. If we already know information such as the author, department, document type, or creation date, there is no reason to perform an approximative search. We can use traditional SQL filters to narrow down the candidates before searching the content itself. The best results come from combining all three approaches: semantic search, lexical search, and metadata filtering. Here we can see an example of the search interface we use during configuration and testing. From this screen, we can choose the LLM model, the type of search we want to use, hybrid, semantic only, or lexical only, and the weight we want to give to the semantic and lexical components. This depends on your environment, on the language your documents have. We can also see the prompt that will be sent to the LLM to generate the final response once the database has returned the search results. At the bottom, we see the actual question that will be submitted to the system. In this diagram, we can see the search process in more detail. The user starts by asking a question. We then run a process that extracts any metadata that may be present in the request, such as dates, authors, document types, and other relevant information. The original question, together with the extracted metadata, is sent to the search engine, which builds a SQL query combining three different approaches: semantic search, lexical, and traditional filters on metadata. The results from these three branches are combined using the weights defined during the configuration, and the documents are ranked accordingly. Finally, the highest ranked documents are sent to the LLM, which uses them to generate the final response. As in the previous use cases, the main components are the database, PL SQL as the programming language, and Oracle Apex as the user interface, and of course, OCI Generative AI services. In addition, the database includes Oracle REST Data Services, or ORDS, which allows us to expose database procedures as REST's API. This means that the search process can be invoked not only from Apex, but also from any external application simply by calling the corresponding API. So you can add this search functionality to a web application you already have in the company. The final use case is about bringing AI into your data analysis with Oracle Analytics Cloud. The problem is in this case that I want AI to help me analyze my data, but I do not want to write any code. And how OAC can help? Well, Oracle Analytics Cloud can automate part of the data analysis processes, and it can apply machine learning models to our data, suggest relationships and comparisons we may not have considered, and help us identify patterns more quickly. It also understands natural language questions using generative AI and can generate visualizations to help users explore the data more easily. For example, with the automatic insights feature, Oracle Analytics Cloud analyzes the available data and automatically suggests visualizations, calculations, and key findings. We can then add these insights to a dashboard and explore them in more detail. With the AI assistant, the experience is even simpler. Users can ask questions in natural language, and OAC determines which query to run and which visualization is the most appropriate for presenting the results. The latest AI capability added to Oracle Analytics Cloud is agents. In addition to the AI assistant we saw earlier, agents can also use business documents, procedures, glossaries, and other sources of knowledge. As a result, questions are answered not only with data, but also with the business context contained on those documents. In this example, we have an agent built on top of Primavera dataset, Oracle's project management solution. The dataset includes projects, activities, risks, costs, and dates. We have also added the Primavera glossary. When we ask the agent which activities are critical, then ask about the costs, and finally request a breakdown of costs by activity type, for example, part of the answer comes from the data itself, while part comes from the information stored in documents. All these AI capabilities for analyzing data are very powerful, but without a good foundation, AI cannot reach its full potential. Those of us who have been building dashboards and analytic solutions for years learned an important lesson. A beautiful dashboard built on bad data may look impressive, but it adds no real value. The same applies to AI. If we have clear, well-defined KPIs built on clean, high-quality data, AI will perform much better and provide much more reliable insights. So the message is simple. The success of AI still depends on the quality of the data behind it. If we want accurate results, we must continue investing in data quality. And that brings us to our final conclusions. Throughout today's examples, we have seen that AI is powerful, but it works best when it is built on quality data and integrated with the systems we already use. I hope today's session has shown that getting started with AI in OCI is simpler than many people think. We can access a wide range of AI models through a single platform without having to manage separate contracts or integrations for each provider. Our data remains under control. It is not shared with third parties and is not used to train public models. We can also choose the geographic region where our data is processed, helping us meet security and compliance requirements. And finally, for those of us who already know PL SQL and Oracle database, we can start building AI solutions using the skills and tools we already have. I hope today's examples have shown not only what AI can do, but also how quickly these solutions can be implemented using Oracle technology. With that, I'll hand over to my colleague Tim for the Q&A session.
Thank you very much, Begonia. Very interesting to see the different use cases that you provided and the extensive capabilities that AI can provide efficiency in, as well as to help the business transformation and speed of business for employees within the customer side. Having said that, we did receive several questions coming in, so let's take the time to answer some of those questions, as we still have some time before we need to end this webinar. One of the questions that came in earlier on in the session was, is the code explanation solution suitable for JD Edwards retrofitting purposes?
Sure, it is. Yes. You could use the comparison of files, the use case I mentioned before. You can compare them. You have to create a good prompt to analyze the retrofitting needs, and then run it for all the customized code.
No, and I can also validate that we're using it for some of our current customers on the code explanation to do that validation, for us also to get insight on the retrofitting effort needed in terms of when we need to perform the upgrade, whether it is a tools release upgrade or an application release upgrade. So definitely. Looking in the questions tab, another question that came in. Do I need to set up a separate data security structure for the AI agent for JDE or another application? The answer from my part is no. The data security is taken from the application itself. So the user security is taken, for example, from JD Edwards. JD Edwards user security setup, and that will ensure that the user that is prompting the AI agent will have the same security level as within this JD Edwards application, which will result in him or her only being able to access the modules, the data, and the processes that it is there. Of course, we need to look at, as Begonia showed, from the QBot cases on the different processes, within which process that you would be willing to look into and implement such a solution. I'm looking again. We also have another question. I'm going to give this to you, Begonia. Is it possible to create documentation for an application using processing option parameters? What would such documentation look like, for example, for P4210?
Well, sure, we can create documentation for JD Edwards application. We have our functional consultants preparing very specialized prompts to analyze applications, but they can be modified for every customer needs. Maybe you want an application focused on different topics, and applications and reports analyzing the event rules are completely possible. Yeah. It's not limited to specific applications or being Oracle applications, because we have been talking about Oracle, but the LLMs we are using are not from Oracle. I mean, we are using OpenAI, Gemini models, and they know programming languages. So if one thing is generate code for me, and other thing is explain this code, is much easier because they can understand the common structures in different programming languages. And some of the models even know the table names for JD Edwards, for example. You don't have to add a glossary because they already have this information. So the explanation of the code is even more user-friendly, I would say.
So generally, we would like to circle back on that question with the individual directly to understand a little bit more their requirements, where we can tailor the solution that we have and fit that with the thresholds and the selection criteria based upon indeed the processing option parameters or specific tables of the application which this person is requesting in that sense. All right, then looking some of the other questions. Is the natural language to SQL use case a product that we currently already offer to our customers?
Natural language to SQL, no, it's not a product itself, it's a functionality of the database plus AI. And what we have created this chatbot is just to showcase it. So it means we have the bricks and the cement to create the building, but the building needs to be created for you.
Yeah, exactly. Then I see another question coming in. I'm going to raise it because it comes across quite often. How long does a typical AI project take in order to have real business added value? I think I can.
For these innovation projects, we like to think big, but start small. And we are talking about weeks, not months, but weeks. And it depends. It's not the same, the JD Edwards chatbot, if you already have the orchestrator processes created, or you need to create them because you want to automate something that you don't have yet in orchestrator. But the AI interface, weeks. And for code explanation, we can start with the seed of our solution we already have, and then extend it to the customer needs. And we are open to do knowledge transfer to our customers. I mean, we don't have a lock on what we have done. No, we want, some of you may have quite big technical departments with already a lot of Oracle skills in-house, and we can help you accelerate the learning curve for AI using Oracle.
Yeah, exactly. We're very much interested in and around the AI topic to train our customers local or in-house resources so that they're able to pick up on what is deployed and also further process the solution and scale it within the organization. That's also part of not only adopting an AI service, but taking ownership of that service and then scaling the solution within the organization. And that is something we do during the project, but also as a managed services provider, being connected to you, but at a minimal effort point of view for your experts to be able to reach out to us when there are some complex things that they might not be able to pick up on themselves, that they are still have a trusted advisor that they can reach out to help them move forward in that sense. All right. Weary of the time, I will do one last question. Also came up, isn't AI embedded within the Oracle Analytics Cloud solution itself? So I think that's based upon the last use case that you presented.
Yes, the use case exactly I explained is how to use the pre-built AI functionalities of OAC. But we have seen that many customers using OAC don't have time to be on top of the new functionalities of the tools, and they are not aware of these functionalities, they are not using it, and they don't have any extra cost. So I want to show that this is here, we can help you understanding how they work, and you can fly with the solution yourself. And yes, we are not creating an AI solution on top of OAC, it's part of the core functionality.
So it's a quick win in that sense, right? So it's allowing you to connect to any data source, and that you can then enable that using the AI capabilities within the platform, and you can get a fast return of investment and AI adoption within your own organization. Definitely.
Yeah, I would say that is the quickest win if you want AI to analyze data. If you want AI as an interface to your application, OAC is not the right solution. But if you want AI to help in analyzing data, don't code, just use OAC, connect it to your data, and start working.
Yeah. All right. We have several other questions that popped in. We will be sure to follow up with those individuals that raised those questions as a follow-up on this webinar. I think also as a possible next steps, right? We provided a lot of information. What could possibly be the next steps that we follow up with you on is setting up a follow-up meeting to demonstrate and showcase one or more of our AI solutions in detail, or align with you on specific AI requirements and challenges that you're currently facing and considering to work on, where we can support, review, and guide you in. Anyhow, also a recording of today's webinar will be provided to you after the session in order for you to revisit any of the content that was interesting for you. Yeah, well, that's it for today. We would like to thank you for your participation and your attention. We trust and hope that this information was according to your expectations, and we look forward to connecting with you and helping guide you with your AI needs. Have a great day and goodbye for now.
Bye-bye.